Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this broadcast. I'm extremely excited that you decided to join me today. It is now time for our 9 for 9 with me, Pastor Carzadean. Won't you come on in and have a cup of positivity? Good morning, good morning, good morning on this fine morning. I pray that all is well with each and every one of you. This morning, we want to talk about this. Don't miss the point. You already know this is 9 for 9. I'm Pastor Carzadean. Good morning to you. And we just welcome you from Elder Bill and Rhema Christian Fellowship Ministry, your virtual community church. We're here this morning on our 9 for 9 with me, Pastor Carzadean. Don't miss the point. We don't want you to miss the point this morning. What is the point? Well, whatever the point is that's going on at the time it's going on, you don't want to miss it. Let me just give you James 1:19 to help us get started this morning. It says, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath." Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Swift to what? To hear, to listen, to use those two ears more than you use that one mouth. Oh my goodness, as one of my favorite TV personality, Just Judy, says. She says you got two ears for listening and one mouth to speak. So it says be swift to hear, slow to speak, and definitely slow to wrath. You know, many times we miss the point because we're not listening. We miss the point because we want to make our point. Sometimes we're so busy talking and then we're arguing. We're proving our point till we miss the point. Sometimes missing the point, we get so caught up in our feelings until we struggle. When we get so caught up in our feelings and we're missing the point, somebody's trying to help us. Somebody's trying to instruct us. Somebody's trying to give us some words of wisdom. We get so caught up in what we want to say until we're not listening. So it says, be swift to hear. Go ahead and listen. Hear them out. Take in what's being said. And while you're taking it in, then you're processing the information you see. Because many times when we're not listening, we're not processing what's being said. We're not processing the real story. We're not processing the information that's being fed to us to help us. So it says, be swift to hear, slow to speak. Stop trying to talk over others. Stop trying to make yourself sound good and look good. Because, you know, I read something one time that said, never argue with an idiot because the person's looking on might not be able to tell the difference. Think about that for a moment. Never argue with an idiot because the person's looking on might not be able to tell the difference. Now, I want you to process that for yourself this morning. But I'm reminding you this morning, don't miss the point. And don't you miss the point of that. Don't miss the point where, when you're being instructed or guided or led, oh my goodness, you've got to listen. Give an ear. He that has an ear, let him hear. Wow. And you know, the Bible also talks about those itching ears. Wow. Be swift to listen, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Don't get so caught up that you don't know what's actually being said. Sometimes we get caught up in wanting to prove our point, to say what we want to say. I'm going to tell her off until we haven't even taken in the whole situation. The point here that we don't want you to miss is that sometimes we need to be quiet. Most times we need to be patient. Don't miss the point here. Listen, Hush. Stay calm. Somebody else is speaking. Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. You know, many times when we're not listening and we're both trying to go and talking and everybody's going and the conversations are going, guess what happens? Somebody gets stirred up inside. Somebody gets insulted. And there wasn't even an insult made. I've seen it happen, I'm telling you. Sometimes we get so caught up in proving our point, we miss the point, and we find ourselves becoming angry, and then the wrath begins. And then, when we get angry, our emotions get in it. Sometimes we say some things that we didn't mean to say, but out of the mouth, the heart speaks. But sometimes our emotions cause us to release some things that we may have been holding. And it may be that I'm the recipient of what was meant for someone else. You see, that's why we have to be swift to hear, slow to speak, and that'll help us be slow to wrath. Sometimes situations find us. Y'all know I like to say us, United Saints, people of God, people of the world, any of us. It finds us reacting or responding in ways not so becoming of who we say we are, not so becoming of who we profess to be, not so becoming even as professionals. Oh my goodness. You can't have all kinds of stuff coming out of your mouth and you're representing the people. Oh, why did I go there? Wow. You can't be showing yourself. My grandmother used to say it a different way, but I won't tell you. Showing your backside. I'm going to use that word. And then you expect respect. Don't miss the point here. You can't be respected if you're not respectable. But I tell you what, it's amazing to us. Don't miss this point. That so many people out of character, they're really not. When you see them show themselves, when you see them come out with blazing guns, when they come out with foul language from their mouths, listen, that's them coming out. They may have hidden that thing while they ran for that office. They may have hidden that thing while they were trying to bring the people in, gather the people up. Oh, listen, you can dress up, but you can't hide up. You can put on the fur coats, the high heels. You can put on the long gowns and the tuxedos. See, I'm not just picking on the women or the men. Put on the tuxedos and the shiny shoes. Put on your top hat. But I tell you what, if you're a dirty goblin inside, that thing is going to come out. So you got to be what? Swift to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Because sometimes when you start clawing and you're pulling down like crabs in a basket, you're not listening. You're just talking. And you're stirring up emotions. You stir up emotions when you act that way. Don't miss the point here. The point here is that we have to learn how to live in harmony with each other. We've been hearing that since the days of Dr. King and before. We have to learn. We have to listen. We don't, and most of us don't need to learn. We know, but we don't want to. Listen. Listen. Y'all know I like to say listen. We have got to get our act together. Don't miss the point here. We're doing more harm than we're doing good. We're doing more damage than we're doing damage control. Listen. Get up off your high horse and come on down. Sit down a little while and listen. Go back and look at that tape of yourself. Oh my goodness. Rewind that situation in your head and be honest with who you were in the moment, in the situation where you weren't listening, where you weren't slow to speak. Oh my goodness. Where you weren't slow to wrath. Go back and rewind that thing in your head so you don't miss the point that you need to get it together. You need to work on it. And maybe, just maybe, when you start getting it together, somebody will hear your point. They will truly understand. Wow. I hope that helped you this morning. Be swift to listen, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Don't let anything get in your spirit that causes you to mess up this point right here, that you're favored. You can be highly favored and you can go forward. You can go forth. You can be positive and you can be positively so caught up that you make sure that every day, hey, don't miss this point. Y'all already know every day I'm going to enjoy myself what? And I do it and I think about it, my cup of positivity. I'll see you next time. Don't miss this point. This tea is good. Thank you.